So what I want to do today for you guys is just show you guys some concealed carry drills. This is nothing crazy, but it's on one target, so you should be able to do it either at your indoor range or if you have an outdoor range. If you're limited in space, it should be pretty easy for you to do. I haven't been shooting a lot of my carry gun, so we're going to shoot a little bit from concealment and just work on that. So make sure we're all prepped to go, and I definitely forgot my timer. All right, so the first one we're going to do is going to be the Mozambique. It's going to be 3-body, 2-head from the draw at 7 yards. It's a good warm-up one, and I think it's pretty realistic. I wouldn't necessarily suggest you try to do 3-body on 2-head on an actual self-defense scenario, but it is good training, and there's certainly scenarios where you could maybe have to make a headshot. That was a 256. Let's do it again. That's a 266. Too flat. Next one we're going to do is going to be the fast drill, which is from the draw, again, at 7 yards, and it's going to be 2-head. You're going to do a slide lock reload, so you're going to have 2 rounds in your first magazine in the gun, or 1 in the chamber, 1 in the gun and the magazine, and then you're going to do 4 rounds after the reload into the body. And I don't usually carry with the extra magazine attachment just because I don't really feel like I need it, and if I need an extra magazine, I'll just put it in my pocket. Whoops. That was a 494. A head right there. 2, 3, 4. Whoa! Little fumble on the reload there. So that was a 520. Certainly because of that reload. And I had 1. So we had 1 here, 1 here, and that was that Charlie, 2, 3, and then 4. All right, so this next one's going to be the 5x5 drill. I've actually never shot this drill before, but I found it on the internet, and it was sounded pretty cool. So it's actually 4 strings of fire. So it's going to be 5 rounds. It's all at 7 yards. It's going to be 5 rounds to the body from the draw. The next one is going to be 5 rounds strong hand. The third one is going to be a 5 reload 5, and then the last one is going to be a 1 head and then 4 body. And then you add up all your time and then your hits, and then we'll see how we do. 1 that went into the delta there, just to the right. That was right at 2 seconds. All the rest were ace. Next one is 5 strong hand. Oh. That was interesting. But hey, you know, I probably should have manipulated it one hand there, but in this scenario, I had both my hands available. I believe the next one is 5 reload 5. Had a little bit of a better grip on that second string. That was a 506. It is 4 rounds to the body and then 1 round to the head. All right. That was clean. All right, so I'll add that up afterwards, but I had 2 line breaks. So these targets I bought, just so you guys know, the A zone in the head and the A zone, actually the whole target is, at least the A, C, and D zones are actually smaller. It was like they were super cheap, and I just decided that you know, I was going to get the cheaper ones, which now I know. I measured them from my actual USPSA legal targets, and it's actually a little bit smaller. So that's why you're going to see that on there. So we had, those 2 were line breaks, so 1 Charlie, 1 Delta, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, and then 1 in the head. 8, 9, 10. We're going to move back 10 yards now, and I'm going to do some of the same ones that we did from these drills. A little slow, get that out of there. The PMags are a little bit like wider, I guess, in some form or fashion, or I don't know what it is, but they stick in a lot of my magazine carriers. where the regular Glock mags don't. If you ever end a drill and you end up in slide lock, just go ahead and reload the pistol. It's really good to get those, not fundamentals. I don't know exactly how I want to phrase it, but it's basically the visual muscle memory of when you're shooting your weapon systems. Is like if you see a malfunction or you see a slide lock or any reason that the gun is not in operation, just go ahead and fix it. Even if you're not doing the drill anymore, it's a really, really good practice to just go ahead and fix the gun and get the gun back up in the fight, and it's useful. As you guys have probably seen from me shooting before, I don't really like big pieces of steel. Now I'm relatively close, right? This is about 7-ish yards or something like that, but I'm just shooting from appendix today. Um, Big pieces of steel can give you a false sense of security, and the ding is satisfying, but if you have this huge full-size D-zone target, then you're not really getting the value and actually having a high standard of marksmanship. So I like little pieces of steel, like this A-zone steel, or even this one that's not even really C-zone. It's kind of in between A and C-zone, but they're super good for just being able to get rep after rep on the range, especially if you're trying to do like a low round count, trying to save some ammo. Especially this time of year when we're all buying gifts and stuff for holidays. So I'm just going to do some draws here on this A-zone steel. All right, and that was a 128. That was a 127. What I also see a lot of people do is they either only train from here with their shirt already prepped, or they only train from having their hands completely off their shirt. Now, I think it's totally reasonable to say in a self-defense scenario where you might be able to have the time to prep your shirt and wait, and this is definitely faster than having to grab the shirt. Just a little tips with grabbing the shirt. You should try to grab, I like to grab it literally right about where my red dot is. And if you have an extra magazine attachment, like you can kind of grab right in between both of them, but you want to get a good grasp of the shirt, pull up as high as you can, and then establish that master grip on the pistol so you can pull it out, right, let go of the shirt, marry those hands, and then come up to full presentation. And then from here, it's literally you can just lift and do the exact same thing. That was a little low, but that was faster, right? My other ones were 128s and 127. That was a 117. And then 7 yards is awesome. That's obviously the most realistic distance for a self-defense scenario, but there are other reasons besides just individual self-defense that we carry guns on an everyday basis. So make sure you train from 25, 30 yards away. Grocery store aisles are pretty long, or, out in big parking lots like that, stuff can happen. So it's good that you have that capability if you need it. All right, and that's 290. That's 3 shots. First shot was a 157. Look, and I know people don't really like it, especially because they think that I'm closer than I am, which, 7 yards is pretty close, but you don't need as much information at 7 yards as you do at these further distances. And I think it is important to train this close, especially when you're talking about something from concealment, because in a self-defense scenario, if you think that you're going to have enough time to actually bring the pistol out, get a absolute perfect sight picture with the dot stopped exactly where you want it, and take those shots, you have a seriously big delusion. It's going to be extremely stressful, right? You're going to have very limited time, and you're going to have to make a decision right on the spot whenever it presents itself. So you don't want to be quick to make a bad decision, and you don't want to be slow to make a good decision. So having the muscle memory of bringing the pistol out and not needing as much information, being able to have a good grip and have good shots accurately on target from this distance at 7 yards is incredibly important when we talk about stuff like from concealment. Also, I'm not the guy, and I hear from a lot of people like, oh, you only need 1 round. Screw that. Pistols, 9mm especially, is not very good at stopping people. It usually just kind of discourages them for a second, or they don't even notice. So my philosophy is if I ever have to pull my gun out and actually shoot at a threat, it's going to be at least 5 rounds. That's why I really like the bill drill, because it is 6 rounds. And if you can do it under 3 seconds, it's 7 yards, I think you're doing pretty well. So let's try it out and let's see how we do. All right, so look, that is a 205. Okay. And that's clean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not really a good idea, especially if you're going to be in a gunfight, to stay static. Now, it's good for fundamental skills, right, to eliminate a lot of variables. But once you feel comfortable doing some of these drills and you're doing them at a decent standard, incorporate other skills into it. Like lateral movement, making yourself a horizontally moving target is going to make you way harder to hit than just standing still or moving front to back. That was 4. But you get the idea. And that 4th one I pulled into the Charlie. All right, we'll move the other way now. Oh. And look, guys, when stuff happens like that, you have a malfunction, you go dry, whatever it is, one of my biggest pet peeves is when something happens and they go to slide lock, and then people are like, oh man, okay, all right, let's just restart the drill, let's restart it. You know what, dude, like, that is not the way that the world works. And what we're doing here is kind of a serious thing. Now, we can have fun, I'm all for that, let's have a blast, let's get together and shoot. But when you're going and doing this drill, especially if you're trying to make it realistic, work through the problems. Hey, so another good one, if you guys carry a handheld flashlight, make sure that you train with it, especially one hand. And even if you have a light on your gun, something I've thought about before is like, I'm not going to aim my gun at everything with the light on it. So if I need to see something, maybe I see somebody doing something sketchy, I don't want to point my gun at it yet, have my light out. Oh shit, they've got a gun, I'm going to drop this and then pull out my actual light on my pistol and be able to engage. So just practice these things, and you can do a lot of this in dry fire. You don't have to do it on the range, but if you've got a place where you can shoot and they're pretty cool out there, it's nice to be able to actually practice at live fire. So the moral of the story is, guys, is get out and practice with your carry guns. Whether it's the one that you carry every day in your waistband or it's the one that you have underneath your pillow for home defense, get out there and give this thing some love. I either see two ends of the spectrum, right? I see people that don't shoot a ton and they buy something for self-defense. They get out, they maybe take it on one range trip. They call it, okay, cool. They put it in their pants and then they go about their day for years and years without actually doing anything with it. And then I see the other end of the spectrum where guys that do train a lot, probably the most of you that watch this video, but they've got a belt gun, they've got a full-size duty gun, right? They've got maybe a 2011, maybe something nice, and they go out and shoot the really, really nice stuff, and then they don't really ever shoot their concealed carry gun, which is probably the one that you're most likely to use in a real-life scenario. So get out there, go train with those guns, and stay safe. Peace.